Hi, let's do Pilates for legs and glutes. You'll need a mat and a resistance band. If you don't have a band, it's okay, you can do it without it. Lie on your back. Put your bent legs not far from your pelvis. Feet are parallel, hip width apart. Let's start with the pelvic movement. Tuck your pelvis in towards you and then move it away from you. Here you can imagine that you have a shallow plate placed on your pelvis, and from this plate you pour water either on your stomach or between your hips. The lower back will naturally either go down to the floor or rise, but try to think here more about the pelvis, not about the lower back. Inhale, pour water between the hips, the stomach can inflate a little. Exhale, pour water on your stomach, the pubic bone moves towards the ribs. Now raise your hands to the ceiling, tilt your pelvis, pour water on your stomach and lift your pelvis up. Check that the chest is soft. Rest on your shoulder blades, in the area between them, not on your neck. And then go down smoothly. Again, pour water on your stomach, the pelvis is tilted, the feet press down. You go to the shoulder bridge. Do not squeeze your buttocks here. This is not a glute bridge. Here we try to keep the legs parallel to each other, while the glutes can be slightly engaged, but we don't actively squeeze them. We tuck the pelvis again. We go up. Make sure your neck is relaxed and you're not tightening your lips. The support comes from your feet and in the area between the shoulder blades. We slowly peel the spine off the floor, one vertebra at a time. Then, in the reverse order, we lay the vertebrae back down, especially focusing on the lower back. You can slow down in the lower back to feel this area better as it lowers to the floor. The vertebrae here are set deeper, so it's harder to feel them on the mat. Now place your hands on the floor and widen your feet a little. Begin to step over with your feet, creating a V shape with your feet, like a Christmas tree. Your toes point outward, then your heels. You can turn your hands palms up if that feels more comfortable for you. Here, your knees will move outward and then come back together. Now keep your feet parallel and lower yourself down. Lift back up into a shoulder bridge. Be sure to tilt the pelvis. Move your pubic bone towards your stomach. Place your hands a little wider. Lift one bent leg, then place it back. Lift the other leg. The goal here is to keep the pelvis stable without rocking from side to side when moving your legs. If you feel strain in your lower back, lower your pelvis a little, but keep the pelvic tilt. The lower back should not arch. Let it stay a little rounded like a hammock. Check that your chest is relaxed and that you're breathing freely. There should be no pressure on your neck. Exhale. Leg goes up. Inhale. Down. Keep your pelvis stable. Now leave one leg up and begin lowering yourself one vertebra at a time. Then tilting your pelvis, lift back up again. If your left leg is lifted, make sure your right knee is pointing forward. Don't let it open to the side and keep the big toe of your supporting foot firmly on the floor. Your whole foot should stay in contact with the floor. The angle at the knee of the top leg is 90 degrees. While doing this exercise, try to move smoothly. Try to lower each vertebra down slowly, like you're counting them. Keep the leg up and begin pressing the floor with the right foot, pulsing the pelvis upward. If your lower back is strained, lower the pelvis a little. Exhale up, inhale down. Perfect. Keep breathing and moving with control. Then lower all the way to the floor. Tilt the pelvis again and go into the shoulder bridge. Now lift the other leg. Slowly lower each vertebra and rise again. Try to lower each vertebra carefully. Now pay attention to the supporting leg. The knee should still point forward. Exhale, lift up, inhale, lower. Don't forget to tuck your pelvis. Each time you lift up, the pubic bone draws toward the belly. Now stay at the top and begin pulsing. Press the left foot into the floor and pulse the pelvis upward. Avoid using your lower back to initiate the movement. Instead, let the left foot drive the action. Lower down. Pull your knees to your chest. Rest for a moment and interlace your fingers behind your head. Elbows to the ceiling. You should be able to see them from the side. At the beginning of the exhale, the rib cage gently sinks toward the floor. As you continue to exhale, lift the shoulder blades off the mat. The pelvis remains in a neutral position. If you've done my abs workout, you probably already know how to position your pelvis. As you lift, avoid pressing your lower back into the mat. It's important to feel a solid connection through the back ribs, as if you're trying to push the mat backward with them. Lift your shoulder blades off the floor as you exhale and lower back down as you inhale. Stay at the top, lift both bent legs, place your hands on the straight right leg while the left leg also extends along the floor. Gently pull the right leg towards you with 2 small pulsing movements, then switch legs. If your knees don't fully straighten, that's okay. You can bend them slightly or bend one leg 90 degrees while keeping the other straight. Great job, keep it up. This is about abdominal strength, leg flexibility, and leg strength. Lower down and rest. Stretch your arms toward the ceiling, palms facing each other. Tilt your pelvis, come into the bridge, extend your right leg, and bring both hands to the floor. Exhale, open, inhale, return to the center. Here, the goal is not to move your pelvis. Keep it tilted, with your tailbone pointing toward your left knee. If the lower back feels tight, lower the pelvis slightly, but keep it tucked. Exhale as you lengthen. Inhale to return. The leg extends to the height of the left knee. There's no need to lower it too much. If you want to make this more challenging, you can straighten your leg and move it without bending the knee. If that's too hard, stick to the previous version. If you want to increase the intensity even more, you can place a resistance band around your thighs, or you can use ankle and wrist weights. Now switch sides. The left leg should extend from a bent position. Make sure your supporting foot is firmly pressed into the floor with the big toe staying grounded. Your right knee pointing forward. Exhale, open, inhale, return to the center. You can straighten your leg, moving with a straight leg. Feeling solid support between your shoulder blades. Be mindful of your neck and shoulders. Don't let your shoulders rise towards your ears. Great. Now lower down, one vertebra at a time. Lower your arms, grab under your hips and roll to sit up. You can add the resistance band now if you haven't already. Place it higher than your knee, around your hips. Roll onto your right side. Place your hand under your head like a pillow. Ensure your chest and pelvis are aligned. The right lower leg is bent at 90 degrees and your front ribs should be closed. Extend the left leg parallel to the floor and stretch the resistance band. Begin rotating the leg as if pushing it away from you. This rotation happens in the hip joint and the pelvis stays still. If this is too difficult, you can remove the band and move without it. For beginners, moving without the band might be helpful to feel the rotation better in the hip. As you move, you'll start to feel a pleasant warmth in your thigh. We're working the muscles that stabilize the hip joint. Keep the leg low. Don't look at your leg too long. Check the position briefly, then focus forward so that your neck stays straight and your spine remains aligned. Now bring your two legs together at 90 degrees. Your shins should be parallel to the front edge of the mat. Begin opening the upper leg, stretching the band and then gently lowering. Make sure your pelvis does not roll back. Keep it facing forward. The knee should rise slightly ahead of the foot to avoid internal rotation of the hip here. Rotate the leg slightly outward and lower it as slowly as you raise it. Exhale up, inhale down. Press the lower leg into the mat to stabilize. Try not to roll the pelvis back. The pelvic bones are facing forward. Go up again, then lower down. Move at your own pace. You can adjust the tension of the resistance band to suit you. If you have a stronger band and feel able to handle it, you can use it. This movement activates the muscles of the thighs, glutes, and core stabilizers, making the exercise great for building strength and stability. Do a few more repetitions smoothly and lower your leg. Now stand on your knees with the band still on your hips. Sit back, opening your sit bones and stretching the mat to the right and left with your shins. Then tuck your pelvis and rise to a vertical position. Squat down, opening the sitting bones. Then dive your tailbone down. Tilt your pelvis and push yourself up with your shins. Rise until your hip joints are aligned in a straight line. Don't stay in a half squat. Fully rise. Let the front part of the hip to open up. When you lift up, push the floor with your shins. The push with your shins should happen at the same time as you tilt your pelvis. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, lift up. Great. Now lie on the other side. Make sure your pelvis, chest, and head are aligned. The knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. Stretch one leg out. Check that the band isn't cutting off circulation. You should not feel pain from the resistance band on your thighs. Begin rotating as if you're twisting the leg away from you. Keep the foot flexed, but avoid tightening your toes. The leg is rotating separately from the pelvis, while the pelvis remains still. You don't need to lift your leg too high here. Keep it parallel to the floor. Focus on extending your leg and rotating it. Also remember to lengthen your spine, stretching from the tailbone to the crown of your head, without rounding or arching your back. Great job. Now place the leg on top of the lower leg. Check that your knee angle is 90 degrees and the hip joint angle is also 90. Begin opening on the exhale and lowering on the inhale. Press the lower leg into the floor, ensuring the upper leg doesn't twist inward. The knee should be slightly ahead of the foot or in line with it. If it's difficult to lift your leg too much, you can raise it just a little. The most important thing is not to twist your top knee inward. If there's a mirror nearby, use it to check your alignment. Reach the crown of your head in the opposite direction from your pelvis and keep your head aligned with your body. Don't let your pelvis fall back. Exhale, lift up, inhale, lower. Do a few more times. I'm sure you're doing great. Now we're finishing the exercise and removing the band from your thighs. Rise into a vertical position. If your mat is as soft as mine, it might be an unstable surface for your feet. In that case, it's better to stand on a firm floor. The left leg will be the supporting one. Extend the right leg back. Reach the left sit bone towards the ceiling and glide the right foot further back, bending the left knee. Next, exhale and push through the left foot to lift yourself up into a vertical position. At the top, rotate your torso to the right, with your arms extended out to the sides. Exhale as you pull yourself up. When you go into the squat, imagine someone pulling your leg and shifting your pelvis back slightly. The left knee should bend, but not be on the line of the toes. Control this moment, allowing the weight to shift back. When rising, keep the pelvis forward and rotate the chest. If you have a slippery floor, you can slide the toe directly along the surface. Switch sides. Now stretch the left leg back, and as you lift, you twist your torso to the left. Arms are opening to the side. When the leg extends back, the torso aligns with it in a straight line. Keep your abdomen engaged and don't let your ribs fall forward. Try to keep an eye on the direction of the knee of your front leg. It should be pointing in the same direction as the toes of your foot. Don't shift your weight onto the back leg. It should barely touch the floor. I'm giving you a lot of technical cues, but they're all really important. I'm sure you're doing great. And we're wrapping up the session. If you have any questions about the technique, feel free to ask in the comments. Goodbye for now. See you next time.